Love is Blind fans, what's happening behind the scenes right now is honestly shocking because what we see on Netflix might not be the full truth. From unexpected breakups to cheating rumors and secrets that never made it on camera, today we're diving deep into the real drama of Love is Blind. Now let's start with what fans first noticed. Because interestingly, none of this happened overnight. At first, everything seemed absolutely perfect, almost too perfect. Couples were constantly posting happy pictures together, smiling, laughing, sharing romantic moments that made it look like their relationships were going strong, from cute selfies to emotional captions to public displays of affection. Everything gave the impression that these couples were genuinely happy. And for a while, fans believed it. It felt real. It felt natural. It felt like love was actually working for them. But then slowly, things started to change. And at first, the changes were so small that most people didn't even notice. The posts became less frequent. The interactions started fading. Comments between couples became shorter, less emotional, sometimes completely missing. And for couples who used to share everything, this silence was unusual. Days passed, then weeks, and suddenly something felt different. Some couples just stopped showing up together entirely. No new photos, no joint appearances, no signs that they were even spending time together anymore. And that's when fans really started paying attention. Because when something like this happens, especially so suddenly, while it doesn't go unnoticed, people began asking questions. At first, it was simple curiosity. Are they just busy? Or are they taking a break from social media? But as time went on, those questions turned into concerns because the pattern became impossible to
Other thing is
ignore.
my side of the bed.
When something changes this quickly, this noticeably, there's usually a reason behind it, and fans could feel it. Something felt off. Things didn't seem right anymore. The energy had changed, the vibe was different, and the connection that once looked strong now seemed uncertain. And even though no one had confirmed anything yet, people could tell something bigger was going on behind the scenes, something that we weren't being shown. And that's when the speculation truly began. As soon as fans started noticing these changes, it didn't take long for rumors to begin spreading everywhere. At first, it was just a few comments here and there, chat speculation, nothing too serious. Some people thought maybe the couples were just taking a break, focusing on their personal lives, or simply staying away from social media for a while. And honestly, that seemed like a reasonable explanation because not everything has to be drama, right? But then things didn't go back to normal. Instead, the situation started getting even more strange. More fans began noticing the same patterns. More people started pointing out the same details. And slowly, those small doubts turned into bigger questions. People began wondering, are they still together? Did something happen behind the scenes? Why are they suddenly so distant? And that's when the breakup rumors truly started gaining momentum, because now it wasn't just one or two people talking about it, it was everywhere. Cross comment sections, fan pages, discussion threads, everyone was talking about the same thing. And then the real signs started appearing. Photos that were once proudly displayed suddenly disappeared. Memories that used to be shared quietly deleted, comments were turned off, interactions completely stopped, and in some cases, the couples even unfollowed each other. Now that, Wand, is never a small sign, because in today's world, social media says a lot more than people realize, and when two people who were once constantly connected suddenly cut off all interaction, it raises serious questions. At this point, fans were no longer just guessing. They were analyzing everything, every post, every caption, every small detail, trying to understand what really happened. Now, officially, nothing had been confirmed. No statements, no announcements, no clear answers. But when all these signs start appearing at the same time, when everything changes so suddenly, it becomes very difficult to believe that it's just a coincidence. And that's when fans started realizing something important. This might not just be a rumor anymore. This might actually be the beginning of a real breakup. And if that's true, then what really happened behind the scenes? Because clearly, there's a lot more to this story than what we're seeing. But here's where things start to get even more complicated, and honestly, a lot more interesting. Because what we see on screen might only be a small part of the full story. In reality TV shows like this, there is always so much happening behind the scenes that never makes it into the final edit. Hours of conversations, emotional moments, arguments, disagreements, all of it gets recorded, but only a fraction of it is actually shown to the audience. And that means one important thing: there is always more that we don't see. Now, several contestants from past seasons have already hinted at this. They've mentioned that certain moments were cut, certain conflicts were left out, and sometimes entire storylines were completely changed through editing. Which raises a very important question: how much of what we watched was actually the full truth? Because when producers choose what to show and what to hide, they also shape the way we see each relationship. A couple that looks perfect on screen might actually be struggling behind the scenes, and a small argument that we saw might have been part of something much bigger. Now imagine this. What if some of the biggest fights never made it into the show? What if certain emotional breakdowns were completely removed? What if there were serious issues between couples that we were never told about? Suddenly, everything starts to feel different because the version of the story we saw might not be the complete version at all. And this is where the hidden drama comes in. Behind the cameras, away from the edited scenes, there could have been tension, frustration, and even conflicts that changed everything. Some contestants have even suggested that the pressure of filming, the environment, and the expectations from the show can create situations that wouldn't normally happen in real life. And when you combine all of that with relationships that are already under pressure, things can escalate very quickly. But if those moments are never shown, then the audience is left with an incomplete picture. And that's exactly why fans are starting to question everything now. Because once you realize that there may be hidden drama, you start looking at everything differently. Every scene, every reaction, every moment, trying to figure out what was real and what might have been left out. So the real question becomes, how much of this story did we actually see? And how much of it is still hidden behind the scenes?